So today, we're gonna wrap up the year with my top 10 sprint, hurdle, and jump competitions of the 2022 track and field season. These will be any races, jump competitions, or anything throughout the year. So could be world championships, could be a diamond league, could be USAs, could be some random meet around the world. These are the best of the best. I will say, of course, we had the world championships, so expect a lot of these competitions to make my list. But when I say competition specifically, I'm talking about a single race or a single jump competition. For example, a semifinal and a final are not combined as one. Those would be deemed as separate races based on my criteria. In addition, this is my personal list, just my opinion. So don't hate me if I left something out or if you think one competition should be higher than another. Instead, go in the comments below and let me know what your top races in the sprints, jumps, or hurdles was from the 2022 season, and we'll talk it out there. Now, I'll be going from 10 to 1, but for those who want to cheat, feel free to check the description and skip to the chapters if you'd like to check number 1, number 5, number 7, whatever it is. But if you do skip ahead, just give me subscribe and I won't tell anyone. Cool? Got it? All right, let's do this. So coming in at number 10, I have the men's 110-meter hurdles at the New York Grand Prix. Now, this race went down in June 2022 and was a matchup between Grant Holloway, Devin Allen, and Daniel Roberts. Devin Allen went on to shock the world, running 12.84 seconds, beating out both Holloway and Roberts. That time moved him to number 3 in the history of the 110-meter hurdles and just 0.04 of a second off the world record. Holloway's 13.06 and Roberts' 13.17 were also very strong times at that point in the season. But Allen led the way with his 12.84 performance, so that's why I have it at my number 10. At number 9, I have the women's high jump at the 2022 World Championships. Now, reigning world champion Maria Lasiskene was out due to all Russian ANA athletes not being allowed to compete. That opened the door for a few other ladies to fight it out for the title. Australia's Eleanor Patterson and Ukraine's Yaroslava Mahuchik battled it out for the gold medal, and both of them cleared 2.02 meters. Patterson cleared it on her first attempt, while Mahuchik cleared it on her second attempt. Because of that, neither woman was able to clear 204 meters, and that gave the win to Patterson, with Mahuchik settling for silver. Below them, Valatigara and Heroshenko also battled it out for bronze, with both clearing 2 meters, but Valatigara won the bronze on countback. Now, at number 8, I'm moving back to the indoor season with the men's long jump at the 2022 World Indoor Championships. Here, we saw Tentaglou from Greece win the gold medal in a jump of 8.55 meters on his second attempt. He also backed that up with an 8.5 meter jump on his sixth attempt. Behind him though, Tobias Mottler of Sweden and Marquis Dendy of the United States hit marks of 8.38 and 8.27 meters respectively to win silver and bronze medals. Why this competition stands out is really because Tentaglou's 8.55 meter jump was the overall world lead in the long jump, indoors or out. In addition, Mottler's 8.38 meters would have been number 3 outdoors, and Dendy's 8.27 meter jump would have been number 9. So they showed some real depth at indoor worlds that was seldom, if ever, matched during the outdoor long jump season. At number 7, still in the field, I have the women's triple jump from the Zurich Diamond League. Now, this didn't produce any world lead or even any personal best, but the depth of this competition was clearly the best for the year in the women's triple jump. Yulimar Rojas, who already jumped a 15.74 meter world record indoors and 15.47 meters to win world championship gold, came to this Diamond League final and jumped 15.28 meters to claim the crown here in Zurich. Behind her though, Marina Beck-Romanchuk of Ukraine jumped 14.96 meters for second place, just on the cusp of that 15 meter barrier, which she actually already broke earlier in the year. We also saw Jamaica's Shanika Ricketts jump 14.85 meters, while Tori Franklin was set at 14.75 meters. Thea LaFond also grabbed a season's best with 14.56 meters for 5th place. So yes, not a ton of 15 meter performances, only one of them, but this was definitely a very high quality competition that continued the trend of great jumps in the event for women. And number 6 is the men's 400 meters at the USATF Championships. This was a highly anticipated race with Michael Norman looking to qualify for his second world championship team. But behind him were some young NCAA guys all vying for spots as well. But Norman had the race in control, running away with the win in 43.56 seconds, a world lead not too far off his personal best of 43.45 from 2019, and it was also the 13th fastest performance in 400 meter history. But not too far behind him was a surprise performance from champion Allison. Allison ran 43.70 seconds for a huge personal best and moving him to the 10th fastest performer in 400-meter history. A massive breakout for him. We also saw Randolph Ross in third with 44.17. Elijah Goodwin and Vernon Norwood ran 44.34 and 44.35 respectively, both personal bests in fourth and fifth place. This was by far the deepest 400-meter race of the 2022 season. Getting into this top 5, at number 5, I have the men's 400-meter hurdle final at the World Championships. Now, this race was an easy pick for the best of the event this year. Alison Dos Santos running 46.29 seconds, the third fastest performance in history, only bettered by Warholm and Benjamin at the Tokyo Olympics last year. But behind Dos Santos, we also saw Benjamin run 46.89 seconds, the 10th fastest time in history of the event. What's impressive is that Benjamin was actually injured for most of the season, so dropping this time was a huge accomplishment considering the circumstances. We also saw Trevor Bassett come through in the final moments to grab a bronze medal in a personal best of 47.39, just edging out Hapio's personal best as well of 47.41, while Rosser rounded out the sub-48s with 47.88. Now, obviously Tokyo last year was much deeper across the board, but this specific race was no slouch in 2022 either. The Final Four is here, and to kick things off, I have the men's 200-meter final at the Oregon World Championships. I already told you, there's gonna be a lot of World Championship races here, but this was a very special race. And what's crazy is I actually debated between this race and the USATF Championships, but it's hard to go against Noah Lyles with the American record, third fastest 200-meter performance ever, and a defense of his World Championship gold medal. Just to be clear, that American record took down the legendary 19.32 second run by Michael Johnson in 1996, which was a once-in-a-generation performance back then. So that says a lot. But even behind Lyles, we saw Kenny Benerick run 19.77, Aria Knighton 19.80, and Joseph Fambule run 19.84. Those top 4 performances, along with Ogando's 19.93 in 5th, made the race a bit more deep than the USATF race, despite Knighton going 19.69 back then. So that's why I have it at my number 4. Top 3, what's it gonna be? We got the final of the women's 110-meter hurdles at the World Championships. Oh, you thought I misspoke? You're telling me that Tobiami-san broke the world record in the semifinals. The final was wind-aided, right? No, I'm talking about the final. Yes, I know it was wind-aided, but that doesn't take away from the depth of the race that we actually saw in this final. With just a 2.5 meter per second tailwind, Tobiami-san, coming off her legendary world record of 12.12 in the semis, managed to go 12.06 seconds in the final, almost breaking the 12-second barrier. I don't care if there was wind or not. But behind her was a photo finish for third with Brittany Anderson and Jasmine Camacho Quinn both running 12.23 seconds, with Anderson edging out the silver by just 0.05 of a second. Aaliyah Armstrong's 12.31 for fourth, Cindy Sember 12.38 for fifth. This final was absolutely insane. Yes, again, I know it was wind-aided and the actual world record was run in the semifinals, but think about this event. This is the 100-meter hurdles, not the 100-meter dash, the hurdles. Running with a tailwind in the hurdles is not always, or really ever, the most ideal situation. The wind can very easily throw athletes off their rhythm, causing them to run up on and even crash into the hurdles. So because of that, these times are super impressive, and I have the women's 100-meter hurdle final at number 3. Now, I'm sure you're all guessing what number 2 will be, and I'm gonna have to go with the women's 400-meter hurdles at the World Championships in Oregon. This was actually a bit hard, as I kind of wanted to rank it a bit lower, as it's highlighted by a single performance. Sydney McLaughlin running 50.68 seconds. 50.68 seconds, literally dismantling her own world record by almost a full second. When you run a time over hurdles that would have finished 7th place in the Open 400 at the World Championships, you're literally bending space and time in your event and in track and field, right? McLaughlin is easily a once-in-a-generation athlete, and this race proved exactly why. Be sure to check out the video I did about McLaughlin's chances of potentially breaking the 400-meter flat world record. But behind McLaughlin, like literally almost 2 seconds behind, Femke Bol ran 52.27 seconds. Not a personal best, but her second fastest time ever, and a time only bettered by Dalilah Muhammad and McLaughlin in the history of the event. Speaking of Muhammad, coming off injury through 2022, she managed to run a season's best of 53.13 seconds for 3rd place, so still very strong for her. And for a bit of context, both Bull and Muhammad's times rank as the second best performances ever for second place and third place in any 400-meter hurdle race in history. They are only bettered by the Tokyo Olympic final from last year. So, despite this really being about McLaughlin's time and her performance, there is a lot of depth and quality in this race, which is why I have it as my number 2. And now for my top competition of the 2022 track and field season, I have the women's 100-meter dash at the Monaco Diamond League. This, in my opinion, was undoubtedly the race of the 2022 season for a couple reasons. First off, Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce ran a world-leading time of 10.62 seconds. This was her third sub 10.7 performance in just 4 days, and barely a month removed from winning her 5th world championship title in the 100-meter dash. This 10.62 was not only a world lead, but also the 6th fastest performance in history. Now, of course, Fraser-Pryce has a personal best of 10.60, which makes her the 3rd best performer ever, so that didn't change. But this race is my number 1 because it gets even better behind her. Shericka Jackson ran 10.71 in 2nd place, which was a personal best and moved her to number 6 all time in the 100-meter dash. Then Marie-Josée Tallou ran 10.72 seconds for 3rd, which was not only a personal best, but also the African record in the 100-meter dash. Oh, we're not done though. Aaliyah Hobbs hit 10.82 seconds for 4th, also a personal best for her. Then Twanisha Terry, Daryl Nita, and Tamara Clark were also under the 11-second barrier, all very close to their own personal best. Because of that, this was one of the very few races, it actually could have been the only race in history where every single woman in the race ran sub 11 seconds. Now, a big caveat is that only 7 women actually ran here because Melissa Jefferson had to scratch from the race. But at both the 2022 World Championships and the 2016 Olympics, 7 out of 8 women ran sub 11 seconds. But someone please fact check me in the comments below if there's any race where all women ran sub 11 seconds in history, regardless of how many participants ran. Anyway, from this race, Tallou, Hobbs, and Nita's times became the fastest times run by 3rd, 4th, and 7th place finishers in the history of any 100-meter dash race. Yes, other competitions this year may have had better winning marks in their respective events, right? Such as McLaughlin, Amusan, Lyles, or even Dos Santos. But when talking about a full race, the depth of this competition at the Monaco women's 100-meter dash is simply unmatched, which is why I have it as my number 1 competition of the 2022 season. So those are my top 10 sprint, hurdle, and jump competitions of the 2022 track and field season on both the men's and the women's side. Again, this is just my personal list. Let me know what your favorite competitions of the 2022 season were in the comments below. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll be back again next time. Thanks for watching.